Welcome to Brains on Games. I'm Dr. Brian McDonald, and this episode we're going to talk about a game that I chose and ordered all by myself. It wasn't sent to me by a publisher or anything like that. It's a game for two players that I've had my eye on for a while. A game called Shōbu. This is a game that's for two players, like I said. It can be played in about 20 minutes, and it's suitable for kids aged 8 and older. So let's take a look at this game, Shōbu. This is an excellent game, and I'm excited to talk to you about it today. Let me get my box out of the way here, and you can take a look at how the board is set up. Now, everything in here, it's wood and stone with a rope in between to divide things up. The idea of Shōbu is that you're going to be moving your stones on the board. One player has the light stones, and one player has the darker ones. You're going to be moving your stones on the board, and the object is to clear one of these four boards of your opponent's stones. You do that by taking two actions on your turn. The first action is going to be called a passive action. That's happening on your side of the board, and it's an action where you're not allowed to move any of your opponent's stones anywhere. So you have to be a little bit careful about how you set things up. So here, if I were the lighter stone, if I were playing with the lighter stones, I can move any of these stones on this side, 1 or 2 spaces in any direction at all. After that, you do an equivalent action, an aggressive action on the other board. This is the one where you can move an opponent's stone. So I moved 1 stone forward 1 space. I can move these stones in the same direction, the same number of squares. Remember, the object of this game is to knock all of your opponent's stones off the board. Now, you can see right away the wood and the rope and the stone. This is a good-looking game. I like the way it builds out here on the table. Doesn't take up a whole lot of space either, which is fantastic. You could bring it with you to a restaurant if you wanted to. I mean, there's no paper or anything that's going to get wet. The stones are smooth, like river stones, and they're not too big or bulky or heavy. But you can see just how, in the way that I've demonstrated it, number 1, simple rules. You're just doing 2 things. You're moving a stone on the passive side. You're moving a stone the same direction, the same number of spaces on the aggressive side. Simple objective. Knock your opponent's stones off one of these squares. It does get complicated though. Why? Because you're moving stones forward on the passive side. That's the side where your opponent is going to be aggressive and trying to knock your stones off the board. So there is a lot of spatial problem solving in this game. And that's pretty exciting. It's a super abstract game. I mean, there's no meeples or workers or locations or anything like that. There's boards, there's squares, there's stones. You're just trying to knock people off or knock stones off. And so it is super abstract, but it's all spatial. You're constantly going to be visualizing not only your passive move, but what will that look like on the aggressive board. You've got to think ahead too, because your passive move might put a stone in the way of your opponent's aggressive stones. So this is a fantastic game that's super simple to explain and learn, but I mean, there's some strategy involved, and certainly the spatial problem solving skills are not my forte. So I'm looking forward to playing more of this game and practicing and sort of developing some strategies as I go. So this, like I said, it's so quick to teach and learn. There are going to be some tricks that you'll pick up as you play along the way, but it is all about the development of those spatial skills. Visual spatial problem solving is what I would say a psychologist would call it. And that's Shōbu in a nutshell. Very quick, like I said, very quick game to learn, quick to play. It's a 20-minute game, and there's lots of spatial problem solving involved. If you have questions about Shōbu or any of the other games on the shelf, or you have a suggestion for a game that you'd like me to talk about on the show, you can find me at brian@brainsongames.ca. Brainsongames.ca is the website. That's where you'll find previous episodes and future episodes will be posted there. Brains on Games is the Twitter handle and the Facebook page and the Instagram feed, so you'll find us on all of those social networks. And if you enjoyed this episode and you'd like to be notified about future episodes, you can head on over to YouTube, and hit that subscribe button. Thanks so much for joining me, and hopefully I'll see you next time.